Welcome back to the world that was and the eternal feud between dwarves and wood elves. We have charts, we have books open, we have a table set up for a lovely 1,000 point game of Old World, more books set up over there, and we're going to start as we need to go on by being completely professional about this thing and showing you today's contestants. Say hi, Stylus and Monkey.
Hi, Stylus and Monkey.
And someone in the background.
I'm here to flip through a book.
Yeah, you're here to... So, how many Old World armies have you still got?
I've got 4 Old World armies and 1 on the go.
One of the,
and 2 more on the go after that.
Brilliant. Are you excited for Old World?
I'm very excited about Old World.
Monkey, are you excited that Stylus is making you excited for Old World?
Yes.
Sultan, are you okay? And this is 1,000 points worth of Wood Elves. Stylus, talk us through what they've got and what you're doing, what's going on here.
Okay, these are the Wood Elves.
That's what I said.
As you'd expect, they can move through cover
and woods,
and they can go quickly, and they're very fast.
Nice.
They're a bit fragile, but they're quick as a rapier. So, we've got leading them is the Glade Captain. So he's like the captain of this little band of Wood Elves.
Yes.
He's got a great weapon, which will allow which is a heavy old thing, means he's going to strike last, but his reflex allows him to strike first, so it'll level out.
Okay.
He's also got his bow, from which he is carrying the magical item, the Hail of Doom arrow.
Right.
He also has these twinkly little sprites around him called a Muster of Malevolence, which is another boost you can give to the character. They'll basically accompany him when he shoots things and do various damages.
Nice.
He's the general and the lead of the army.
Okay.
The other character I have is this one, called the Shadow Dancer. It's like a really special kind of war dancer. They're the excellent close combat people. They dance around and do lots of things. I've also paid the points to upgrade her to a level 1 wizard, so I'll be picking a spell that she can use during the battle as well. You randomly determine the spell, so I don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
As for the regular stuff, we have the 10 Wood Elf Glade Guard with longbows. 10 Wood Elf Glade Guard with longbows. You can buy them special arrows. So these guys have what's called the Hagbane tips, which are poisoned arrows. They're more likely to wound. And these guys have the Arcane Bodkins. They're armor-piercing arrows. They're more likely to get through armor.
Okay.
And as I'm dealing with tough armored dwarves, they might come in handy. Screaming over here, we have Dryads. These are the trees come to life. They're a little bit tougher than other elves, but they don't shoot. They just run into combat and beat things up. They cause fear.
But they're not elves.
They're not, well, this is the woodland realm. They can bring their tree friends to life. So
okay.
These come to life. They're also made of wood, which is bad if my opponent has anything that causes fire. So we'll see about that.
Right.
I don't know if Monkey has just rigged his list to be countering to mine.
Probably.
It's the kind of thing he would do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned cavalry.
Some cavalry. These are the Wild Riders. So again, they are very fragile. They've only got shields and light armor, which means and most of these things just have 1 wound. So you realise when you fail an armor save or one save, they just go. You lift them, take them off. And armor is not generally high, but they're fast. They do a lot of damage if they get the charge in. So yeah, they could be quite interesting, and they're quite maneuverable. We'll see these things tend to move in blocks, but elves generally have a bit more maneuverability than other armies because of their light and flighty nature.
Does the cavalry turn up from the east on the dawn of the 4th day?
Absolutely, it does. Yes,
nice.
Right down the slope.
Okay, anything else we need to know about?
War dancers are here.
Yes.
Again, they are also very killy. They have 2 weapons. They can choose a number of dances. That'll be interesting. They can basically pick their attack or pick their dance when they get into combat.
Okay.
Depending on who they're facing. So they're quite fun. So basically, this is a very fragile elite army. It's the kind of finesse army that will take apart the slow-moving, slow-witted dwarves.
Talking about slow-moving and slow-witted things, Monkey, talk us through the dwarves. What have you got? What do they do?
So this is the Dwarven Hold of Anvig. This is my little army for the day. This isn't my army, but it's a little army that Stylus has kindly loaned me for the day. So, dwarves have a hatred for orcs and goblins, which is not very handy in this game.
No.
They've got a bit of magic resistance, but they are quite slow. So they're -1 to flee and pursuit rolls. So
very little legs.
Only tiny little legs, but they do their best with what they've got. So we've got a block of heavy infantry. So we've got our warriors in the centre. They're led by the Thane, held aloft on the shield bearers.
Nice.
So he's my warlord for the day. He's got a few little bits of magic kit. He's got Gromra armour, so it gives an armour reroll save of 1. It's quite handy. And he's also got a rune of swiftness on his axe, which means he can strike first as well.
Nice. Both of you striking first.
Yeah, so we'll have a little fight as to who's the quickest, I think.
Okay.
So all the warriors have just got hand weapons, they've got shields, heavy armour, so they've got a decent save.
Yes.
And a little bit tougher as well.
Yes.
So there should be some staying power in there. to the right, we've got a group of Thunderers. So they've got handguns and hand weapons.
Right.
So
Which tend to blow up in their face.
I don't think they do.
No?
No, not in this. There's other stuff that will probably blow up in my face, but
Like
not so
cannons.
much these guns. Yeah, especially like cannons.
Yeah.
So they're going to be sort of giving me that sort of little bit of a range fire.
Yes.
We've got a group of Rangers to the left. So they're in a skirmish formation, and they can set up in an advanced position.
Okay.
On the board. So they've got some crossbows, they've got some hand weapons as well. So yeah, movement is quite limited with the dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to lean on some extra movement shenanigans really. So we've got a group of miners as well. Some good Welsh coal miners.
Yep.
They can set up an ambush as well.
Okay.
So they can come on from a table edge.
Okay.
On a 50-50, I think it's on a 4+ they come on.
Right.
Otherwise they'll just be sort of tunneling.
Digging up from underground, surprise attacks.
Yes.
Then a couple of cannons in the backfield.
Yeah, so cannon on the right, regular cannon.
Yes.
Good old-fashioned cannonball.
Yes.
We've got to see if we can measure the bounce properly, because that's quite a thing.
Okay.
Cannon on the left is a flame cannon.
Right.
So a nice little flame template. I've used it once. It blew up on turn 1.
Brilliant.
Which was great fun.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, we've got a gyrocopter. So this is some much-needed movement.
And we're deployed for this 1,000 point game, this open battle, Wood Elves versus Dwarves. There's a cannon and some skirmishers up here. Line infantry holding the front and centre. And then elves. Elves spread all the way across the battle grid. None of the pointy-eared Wood Elves are in reserve. The miners are in reserve for the Dwarves. Now, before the game begins, the Wood Elf Sorcerer generated a magical ability, which is...
It's the spell, the Glittering Robe. It's the signature spell from the illusion deck. So I rolled a spell I didn't like, so you can trade that for the standard one. So the Glittering Robe basically is -1 to hit if I manage to get it off.
Nice. And you've got a thing that happens before the battle begins as well.
This is their special ability for the Wood Elves. They fire kind of a ceremonial arrow to make sure the battle's kicking off. So
Right.
if my general is in range of his general, I
Okay.
can step forward and fire what's called the Arrow of Kuranos. So it's a single automatic hit, strength 3. No armor save allowed, just go straight through. You will allow a ward save. But by doing this, it means the army is kind of like stopped and watched. So I give up +1 on the who goes first roll.
Okay.
So this is the Arrow of Kuranos now.
As you shoot him in the head.
He's a toughness 4 dwarf, so I need a 5 to wound him, but it'll let him know I'm here.
That's a 4.
The arrow bounced off his tough
Doesn't
dwarf hide.
wound the dwarf. Now, because you won the roll off to deploy first, you would have had +1 to see who goes first, but because you shot the arrow, no +1.
So it's an even roll.
So now it's an even roll. And Stylus rolls a
Good luck.
5. And the dwarves roll a 3. The slow dwarves are going second. This is open battle, which means they're just trying to tear the snot out of each other.
Points are scored for killing units, making them flee, making them half strength, capturing banners. Just go at each other and you'll score the points.
And it's dwarves. Turn 1. What?
It's Elves turn 1.
You won the
quick
roll.
flighty reflexes got ahead of them.
I screwed it up already. No command actions to take, but there is a conjuration.
Yes, this is the strategy phase before things happen. So
Yes.
you go through your command actions, your conjurations. So conjurations is enhancements or hexes get done in this phase.
Nice.
So I'm boosting this unit by trying to cast the Glittering Robe on them. So
Okay.
it's an 8 to cast it on these 2 dice, and I can add 1 because that's my spell level.
Okay.
So an 8.
That is an 8.
9. I have cast it, and Monkey has no wizards to stop that, but he can make what's called a Fated Dispel, which is just a flat 2 dice with no anything added to it because dwarves don't.
Are you ready?
Right, I'm ready. I've got
Gonna
dice
beat
on
my
that.
9.
I'm
Ready?
ready.
It
Don't
fails.
beat the 9.
So that is now a -1 to hit.
The spell goes off. The war dancers are shrouded by the glittering robe. -1 to hit. At the end of the moon phase on this flank, all the wood elves marching forward. They're in the trees, so we've moved the trees slightly out of the way. That's double move. Then down here, they just walk forward. So we've got some shots. Starting with a unit of Glade Guard firing at the Thunderers. The Thunderers, being the dwarves with guns, going to be hit on a 5.
Because they moved and because they're at long range, they'll
Yes.
be hitting on 5s, and half the back rank can fire because these bows allow volley fire.
Right.
So the front rank and some of the back rank are firing. I'll fire the Lord the champion because he's a better shot. He'll
Nice.
hit on a 4. That hit, and he's hit on 5s.
And these poisoned arrows wound on 4s. 2 wounds.
The ability of a Wood Elf bow is Armor Bane, which
Yes.
means it's -1 AP if I roll 6s.
Nice. They're going to need 6s to save this. And 2 of them die screaming. Now the Glade Lord is firing because of the range of the movement. He's going to be hitting on a 3.
He does hit. He doesn't have poisoned arrows, he just has regular arrows. So
Okay.
a wound on a 5.
And
So
he does wound.
And he's got a muster of malevolence who follow each arrow. So every time an enemy model is hit, you suffer an additional D3 strength 2 hits. So
Just making words up.
there's an extra 2 hits. These are strength 2, so they're going to be wounding on 6s. No set. So 1 to save, no armor bane.
1 save, no armor bane, 5 up.
Okay, 5 up. Yes.
Ah, the dwarves in!
Second unit of Glade Guard firing their arcane bodkins.
Arcane, but these are the armor piercing ones.
Yes.
Same story, half the back rank can fire. These can only see through the gap at the dwarf warriors. Hitting
Okay.
on 5s, except for the Lord's Bowman who's hitting on 4s.
Okay.
He misses, and these guys...
So we have 3 hits.
We have 3 hits, that was it. And
Nice.
armor bane is also a thing, so looking for those 6s. 1 6, so that's AP minus 3.
Kills
and
1.
These 2 don't go through, so yeah.
That's the end of turn 1 for the Wood Elves. The Leagues of Votan have not suffered 25% casualties, so no morale to take. As we go on to Dwarves, turn 1. On the right flank, despite spotting a cavalry charge coming straight towards them, the Rangers hold firm. In the middle, we have marching orders straight up the table. Everything else stays still, except for the gyrocopter around here. And the gyrocopter is firing its brimstone gun at the Glade Guard. D3 plus 1 shots for 2 shots. Got quick shot. It's going to hit on 4s.
Come on, little dwarf man.
He hits once.
Hits once.
Strength 5.
Strength 5.
2's to wound.
It wounds.
Goes right through my armor, you've killed an elf.
AP 2, 1, die screaming. I like the screaming. Behind them, on the hill, Thunderous firing at the same unit. They can all fire because they're on a hill. Because the range hit on 5s.
The champion hits on 4s.
Nice.
Champion.
Champion hits, of course he does. And boom, 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 go all the guns. He's on 3s. Pesky elves. 2 of them get hit.
They are armor bane, but because I have no armor, you just killed 2 of them.
Oh no. That will be enough for a morale check later. Now we're coming across the cannon, and you're going to try and bounce a cannonball straight through the cavalry on this side.
Yes. So the rangefinder thinks about there.
Yes.
So we need to roll a artillery dice first to see
Yes.
if, in fact, it does land there. No.
It lands 10 inches further on.
10 foot long.
It sounds
Over. It's Sultan. Sultan has to take an armor test. You dare.
I only have a 6-up save.
From one cannon over to the other cannon, the flame cannon, you're going to put it somewhere over here, trying to catch as many as possible and set these trees on fire. Artillery dice. Does it go boom?
Let's hope not. Oh, every time!
So you played with the cannon before.
Yes, once before.
How many times have you rolled on that cannon?
Once in turn 1.
Okay. How many times has it blown up?
Once in turn 1 on there, and once in turn 1 here. So
Brilliant. So let's roll a dice. Let's see what happens. And it blows up
One
in your
dice.
face.
One dice.
One dice.
Ready.
6.
That's
okay.
You're all
That's
good.
okay.
The fuse just goes, even though it's fire, the
It's
fuse
okay.
goes out.
Psst, psst, you're good. Next to the cannon, the last thing left to fire will be the crossbows from the Rangers. Down into the Wild Riders. After modifiers, forced to hit. And the crossbows are wound on 3s. 6s. 6s are good. No 6s. Got them?
So there are 3 types of save in 40k, and you make them one after the other if you fail. 40k. In the old world, there are 3 types of save. First one is the armor save, so there's no armor penetrating on the crossbows.
Yes.
So I make my normal armor.
Yes.
If I fail that, I go to my ward save, which is like a magical. It can be a talisman, it can be a spell.
Yes.
Then you make that. If you have a regeneration save, you make that too. They don't have regen. These guys have armor and wards.
Okay.
So I make the armor save. There is no modifier to this.
Right.
So I got shields and light armor. I need 5 ups. Okay, so
That's
2 have been
2.
saved, and then the 2 have fallen. Get to make a magical save on 6s. They're not really dead. So
One of
only
them-
1 has fallen.
And that's the end of turn 1, but we do have a panic test on these Wood Elves down here.
Okay, they're using the Glade Lord's leadership of 9. So
Yep.
let's see how that works.
And that is an 8. You're okay. You're okay. So at the end of turn 1, casualties taken on both sides. The Wood Elves down here aren't panicking yet. Cannons are going out left, right, and centre, but the elves are getting closer and closer to the dwarves' lines. There could be a potential charge right up the side of the hill here as we go into Wood Elves' turn 2. So at the start of the turn we did the spell for the glittering robe. This time it didn't go off. We're on to the Wild Riders here because at the start of the turn they have to charge. They have frenzy.
Yes, it's an easy charge to get up to the Rangers, but the Rangers have crossbow and they can react by standing and shooting.
Nice. The Rangers sit on 3s, they're quick shots, and they're dwarf crafted. Dwarf crafted, don't suffer the penalty.
Yes.
Yes?
Are you ready now?
Are
you ready?
Hot and ready.
On 3s, you ready?
Okay.
Come on, boys.
That's a lot of hits.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's okay.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
Wounding on 3s. 6s are armor bane.
There's 2 armor bane hits.
So these 2 go straight through my armor, so
Yeah.
ward save. This I get a 5-up save for.
No.
So now 3 ward saves to make.
Yes, and
Need
there's only
6s.
4 left.
There are only 2, 1 left.
There's 1 left to make the
So the
charge.
charge is you roll 2 dice and
Yes.
pick the highest.
Okay.
You add that to your movement characteristic, which for them is 9. So they are going to make it up easily.
Okay.
1 is going to make it up easily.
1 makes it up easily.
So I pick the 5. There's also Swift Stride, so you take another dice and add that to that as an ability. So the 1 soul man who survived it did make it up there.
Well done, that guy. Well done, that one guy.
The horsey makes it up there, and at the end of the movement phase, it looks like this. What's going on, Stylus?
Okay, I've moved forward the troops. The lone wild riders engaged with the combat after that, but first we've got some more shooting to do. We'll start off with the Hagbane tips. I think they'll continue the vendetta against the Thunderers.
Over here?
So I've got 4 at the front plus the champion, and then only 1 guy, another denuded. So that'll be 5 shots. It's still long range, and I've still moved. So hitting on 5s, and the champion hits on 4s.
Nice. Champion misses.
And
In fact,
get
you only
3 more
get
hits.
3 hits, but that 3 hits is good.
Good. I'll be wounding on 5s, but looking out for those 6s being armor bane, like that one. So that's -1, and that's -nothing.
Okay, so 4 up on the nothing. Nope. And then 5 up.
2 more dead. And then we'll fire the Lord. The Lord also hits on a 3. He misses, so his muster of malevolence doesn't go off.
So 2 dice, still not enough for a leadership test, panic test. We're on to the Arcane Bodkins. They're rinsing and repeating, shooting at the unit right in front.
Just long range, and they have moved, so it's 5s, and the Lord's Bowman gets it's on a 4.
Okay.
Which he does, and then I've got 5 and 2 at the back, right, 4 and 2 back, so...
Got all the dice? We've got all the
on
dice.
5s.
And we
so
have
only
2 hits.
Wounding on 5s.
1 wound.
So this goes straight through because Arcane Bonk is -2. Armor Bane is another -1. Just gets one through the eye socket.
So at the end of the shooting phase, 3 of the dwarfs has fallen. Now we're on to the fight phase. The Wild Rider, the lone Wild Rider, versus the Dwarf Rangers.
So fighting is not just whoever charges goes first, it works on initiative order.
Yes.
So
Like Heresy.
Like Heresy. So the initiative, but you gain initiative for charging. So every
Yes.
inch you charge up to a maximum of 3, you gain 1 initiative. So you get more of. Dwarves are really slow and elves are really fast, so it probably won't matter. But my Wild Hunter, who is the last champion left, has initiative of 5.
Yeah.
He gets his +3 for charging, so he's up to 8. He also has an ability for Elven Reflexes for +1 more initiative, so he's up to 9. Can you beat 9 initiative?
So I've got initiative of 2.
2, okay. The other thing I'm going to do...
No.
The other thing I'm going to do is, before combat starts, I'm going to issue a challenge.
Okay.
So I'm going to call his champion out. The reason I'm doing this is partly because I want to kill his champion, but also if I'm in a challenge, the rest of the unit can't cut me down.
Yeah.
So
But you could deny with your
you
champion.
can run away.
And then all the other guys just batter him.
If you're scared.
I mean, he's taunting you. Are you going to give in to an elf taunting you?
No, I'll accept the challenge.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Terrible idea.
Yes, let's do it.
There he is, the guy with the big axe. Can he withstand such reckless hate?
Because he is a champion, he has 2 attacks.
Yes.
Because he has Frenzy, he gets an extra attack.
Wow.
And because he have what's called a Furious Charge, I get an extra attack if I charge more 3 inches.
Wow, wow, wow.
4
Wow.
attacks. And because
Wow.
he's a better fighter than the dwarf, you'll hit him on 3s. Everything gets through.
I feel like I made a horrible mistake.
It's a horrible mistake.
My Hunting Lance gives me extra strength, so I'll wound you on 3s.
Dwarven Ranger Champion. Struck 3 times by a -2 spear. He needs a bunch of 6s. He doesn't get a bunch of
does not.
6s.
He falls.
Oh, no, it doesn't fall yet, because my steed can keep kicking him even though he's dead.
Oh, brilliant.
But he's dead.
It matters. It matters to me. So the steed hits him on a 5, like that. It will wound him on a 4, like that. There's no way he beats this one, so you can make a normal save. I don't know how you're saving your shield. but you do.
He's still dead.
So the thing is, because he's dead, and because the rest of you now can't strike me back because we're in a challenge,
Yes.
that's the combat done.
Yes.
So I win by I don't win. I gain a wound for killing him,
Yes.
and the 2 additional wounds are called overkill. So basically, the whole unit saw me beat him up and got a bit scared. So that's extra to my combat resolution.
Right. However, instead of losing by 3 points, you've got a standard. You're on a hill, so you lose by 1 point. The dwarfs. So leadership 9. He's okay.
So because he passed that under his natural leadership, he does not have to give ground. He just gets he does give ground. He just goes back 2 inches.
Yeah.
And I push up 2 inches.
Yeah.
So
So at the end of turn 2, the Rangers and the Wild Hunter are locked up. Don't think the Wild Hunter's long for this world, but he has been able to take out the champion there. That is the Elves. End of turn 2. No panic tests everywhere as we go into Dwarves turn 2. First up, will the miners dig their way out from underground? They need a 4. Oh yes, yes they do. Here we are after the Dwarves movement phase. Lots of pressure on this flank. So this bunch of Dwarves pivot to face the War Dancers. They couldn't have made the charge. The copter over this side spins around. It's got some side shots on the archers, and the miners have dug their way up over here. But just like last turn, when we start with the gyrocopter, we're going back to the gyrocopter. These 3 +1 shots coming in hot. Last time it was 2 shots. This time it's 4.
Okay, hitting on 4s. Wounded on 2s because tiny little elves.
And that is 2 wounds. And that is 2.
Take them away.
Set on fire. The whole rank has now been decimated. From the copter, back to the cannon one more time. Trying to bounce from this location. Does this cannon blow up in your face?
We don't know. We'll find out now. So we're hoping not for that.
Yes.
Is what we're hoping for.
Yes.
Yay!
You didn't get that. The bounce is 10.
Well,
it
goes
hasn't
10.
bounced yet.
It's gonna. I think you've shot over the top
Lands
again.
there. You can
One
bounce
more
if you want
time.
to.
Twice now. That's an overshoot. Will the flame cannon blow up?
So the flame cannon's going to go into the tree man.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
A little bit of kindling.
Yes.
Yay! It didn't blow up.
Smoosh it lands there. It's going to hit 3 of them.
Okay, so they're in danger of being hit. So on a 4 or more, they will be hit. They've all been hit.
They're all been hit.
Okay, the strength of the flame cannon is 5, so you're going to wound them on 3s.
That is 3 wounds on the
Punches.
tree men set on fire.
Punches through my sapwood flesh. Now, I'd normally get a nice regeneration save here, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's on fire. So
It's
they
flame.
just die.
So casualties on the left, casualties on the right. You're thinking about firing the Thunderers down into the War Dancers over there, but in skirmish formation, there'd be 6 to hit at long range.
Too much.
So you're going to pour on the pain down here. It's also where the commander of the Elves is.
Yes. So the champion, the veteran, hits on 1 better,
4.
which he misses. And we've got 5 more there on 5s.
1 hit.
Only 1 hit. 1 on a 3. Doesn't wound. Sad times. Sad times.
That's the end of the shooting phase. We have some panic tests to make.
Panic test here.
Yes.
They're okay. They're not worried by half their guys dying.
And the Dryads.
They would take it, but they're immune to psychology, so which means they're immune to fear, panic, or terror. They don't have to test.
They're
Nice.
trees.
Okay, we're on to the fight phase. We have the last of the Rangers attacking the last of the Cavalry. The Cavalry goes first. Higher initiative.
I'm the high initiative. The spear, though, is no longer in effect, so I've used my charge. I'm just
Yes.
whacking you with the butt end of it.
Yeah.
But I am still on 3 attacks because I am still frenzied.
Okay.
So hitting on regular guys now, hitting on 3s.
And you hit all the
Hitting all
time.
targets. I am now only strength 4 because I'm not using my spear.
Fours to
so
wound.
4s to wound.
And you wound all the
all
times.
I don't believe it helps me get through armour though, so just regular saves for you.
Okay.
Kills 1.
Okay, so you lost 1. The horse kicking out didn't do anything. 2 can fight back. Hitting on 4s. And that's a hit. Can you wound?
4s.
Come on, mate.
Negative on the wound. However, leadership test is a thing now. You lost 1, but it's a hill and a standard. So technically, you lost that fight.
And alright, so they,
Fighting uphill.
even though I may not break, I've lost frenzy now, so I have fewer attacks.
Yeah.
And I've got to make my leadership, which is -1. I have just about. My leadership is 9.
Is it?
So
He's
I've
got
passed,
high leadership.
I've passed leadership modified, which means I have to fall back. I give ground, so I push back 2 inches.
Okay. So at the end of all of that, the Rangers pursue the Wild Rider, pushing him back down the hill. The Elves have been taking some casualties, but there's going to be more charges this turn. As we go into Elves turn 3. So before we go into the movement phase, Glittering Robe failed 1 more time. Psychic Power's not going off. The Dryads want to charge this cannon over here.
They do. They need a 3 to get in. It's pick the best one out of the 2 dice, and they're in. The cannon cannot react and shoot back.
And they really don't like fire. No wonder why they're charging in. Are you going to charge in with the War Dancers as well? This looks like a long
I'd
charge.
need a 6, so I think I'm going to just move them and dance around the edges, make the dwarves keep spinning around to face me and get them dizzy.
Well, they are War Dancers. So at the end of the charge move, the Dryads end up like this, and the War Dancers are trying to comprehensively outmaneuver the slower Dwarves here for them to pivot, and it's a long charge for the Dwarves because they've got very little legs. So I think they're just going to have to get hit and take it, then fight back. We've got some reforming with the archers in the backfield.
Yep, so they give it their movement to reform their line. So they're now facing down here because this is where the new threats come from. So that's what we're going to take on.
And now we open fire. 1 minute, a thing has occurred. You can't shoot past your own guys.
Yeah, models block line of sight. So they're the next wave of shots.
Okay, so you can pivot them back again.
Oh, thank you very much. Is that right, Ken?
What?
Well, if you've rolled a dice, you can't remove, but we're learning.
There's a dice roll. Can't do it.
12! Barrels!
And it takes you back, so they'll stay still.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in them moving if they can't shoot. So now we're going to open fire. What are you
Open
shooting
fire.
at with these guys?
So they are going to shoot at them.
The miners.
The miners. So they've moved.
So that gyrocopter doesn't block sight.
Well, I guess this guy can see past him that way. He's going to see past him that way.
Yeah, it's floating above.
Men have gone.
Well, the Glade Guard is shooting the gyrocopter anyway. The gyrocopter's jinking.
They have moved, which is -1, but he's definitely in short range. So they're
Yes.
hitting on 4s,
Yes.
and the champion hits on a 3. So, because they are Hagbane tips, they are poison arrows, they will wound this machine
Oh, on that.
on that. And that is Armor Bane as well.
Okay, so 5 up with Armor Bane.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a jinx.
I know.
Just thought I said it to be funny.
Yes.
And it was.
That was not funny.
Oh, he makes it. Right.
Blink.
The Lord will shoot him, and he will shoot him with the Hail of Doom Arrow.
Nice.
It hits, which is good.
Because he's a lord.
Boom, it does 1 damage. It hits him, wound him on a 5.
Okay.
It wounds him, it's -1 AP.
Right, back to
Got
the
the
fight.
5 save.
Yeah.
Ah.
Hail of Doom Arrow really should be used against a unit, not an individual thing. I just got carried
Yeah,
away.
that would carry more.
That would carry much more, but you know.
But, you know-
I did enjoy the blast template on one lad though. That
But
was
the Muster of Malevolence is 1 hit that doesn't wound.
So lots of shots firing up into the sky at the copter there. No wounds caused whatsoever. So the Glade Guard are firing into the Dwarf Warriors.
Yes, so the haven't moved. They're still long range. So the champion hits on 3,
Yes.
and everyone else hits on 4.
Okay.
So the back rank can shoot as well. And these, that was a miss, wasn't it? These are the arcane bodkin. So I'll wound on 5s, but it's very armor piercing. That goes right through and kills 1. These don't do anything.
Another one gets shot in the head. At the end of the shooting phase, only 1 Dwarf Warrior falls. Now we're on to the fight. Cavalry versus Rangers one more time.
So I didn't charge this time because I felt I gave ground and they followed back up into me.
Yeah.
And I'm not frenzied because I lost that round of combat. So I only have 2 attacks left now. But they both hit. I'm strength 4, so they wound on 4s. 1 wound, no AP.
He
That's
saves.
off his own. So you
Good.
get 3
And the
attacks back at me.
Dwarves keep taking their saves, making their saves.
Hitting
Now
on
you can
fours.
fight back.
On 4s.
On 4s.
And you hit twice.
Ooh.
losing their temper.
Wounding on 4s.
You wound
I
once.
get my armor save of 5 up. And I get a ward save of 6 up. Protect me. Take him
Huzzah!
out.
So the Rangers have beaten off a horse. And now they reform, looking down at the Dryads who are fighting this cannon. 4 of the Dryads can fight. They're hitting on 4s.
One of them is the champion. He has extra attack. So everything hits. They're beating the crew who burned them alive. Wounding on 4s.
Yes.
But the dwarves are tough. Only 2 get through. You have light armor, heavy armor. What's your armor over there?
We'll find out now. Let's roll some dice anyway.
2
was
dead,
it.
whatever
Not
armor
that.
they got.
One lone dwarf fights back.
Hit on a 4.
And he hits.
Wounding on a...
Toughness 4, so you wound on a 5.
It's only strength 3.
On a 5.
Yeah. And
Doesn't
it doesn't wound. Interesting. At the end of the fight phase, the cannon crew gave ground. The Dryads follow them up. And that is the end of turn 3 for the Elves. They're trying to dance around the Dwarfs and make combat. But their bowmen keep missing or just plucking off the odd dwarf here or there. And of course, the Elves have lost their first full unit, the unit of cavalry. Now, this is going to be almost an impossible charge for the Dwarves because you pivot round and this isn't going to happen over here, but they are in the open. There's lots of shots this way. There's miners coming in from the flank as well as we go on to Dwarves, turn 3. So, Monkey, you've only moved 2 units. What's the plan?
It's a very loose plan.
Okay.
It involves waiting for these guys to charge me.
Right, they step
And then,
back a bit, yeah.
the biggest part is dropping some bombs with
Okay.
a gyrocopter and then shooting some guys.
Yes.
And then the Hail Mary is to try and get this cannon shot
Right.
into the war dancers.
Okay.
And, that's lucky.
And then bounce it into the Dryads.
Imagine that.
Is that why you didn't charge with the Rangers? Because then it bounced through them as well?
Yes. And
Okay.
these are just going to stand and shoot the war dancers.
Right, okay, they're up there taunting, the gyrocopter flying over the things. We've got a bomb from the sky. Let's do that. This should be exciting. So, D6 strength 3 hits.
D6.
That's 5 hits.
That's nice, isn't it?
That was lucky, because if you'd have rolled a 1, he'd have dropped the bomb in his lap and blown himself up. Winning on 4s.
Winning on 4s.
Yeah.
Strength 3
Bombs
hits.
from the skies. That's 2 hits.
That's 2 dead.
-1.
Boom, boom. 2 elves die, and then the brimstone gun is shooting into the second squad. D3 plus 1
D3
shot.
plus 1 shots.
We're
that's
back
lovely.
to
4.
4 shots
back to
again.
4
On 4s.
Hit on 4s.
Yeah. And that is 3 hits.
At -1.
Strength 5.
Go wound first.
Okay,
wound.
You take him off.
Don't take off now. I'm going to.
Right, 3 to wound.
Yeah.
2s, I think.
2's is it?
Strength 5.
Strength 5, toughness
2
3. 2s to wound.
There we go.
2 more. So
dead.
he's taken out 2 from one squad, 2 in another squad. What a brilliant gyrocopter pilot.
We're going to call him Maverick.
Okay. While explosions can be heard on one side of the battle grid, we're across to the rangers plunging their crossbows down at the war dancers here. 5s to hit them though.
Yes. They're very quick and agile.
Yeah. But that didn't stop the dwarves hitting.
Did Deadeye not get an extra shot rather than a better ballistic skill?
Deadeye's dead.
Deadeye.
Oh
Deadeye's
yeah, you
dead,
murdered him
baby.
with a big spear.
Yeah.
he's
Never
Run
mind.
over by a horse.
Zed's dead, baby.
That cries
Zed's
dwarf.
dead.
On 3s.
That is 2 wounds on the war dancers.
A ward save where I will pluck the arrows from the air on 6s.
You plucked one of them.
You pluck the other one.
Like, what's this thing that just flew towards me? Only one war dancer got shot in the back, and then we're going to try and bounce a cannon one more time because this always goes well.
Yes.
Trying to land the shell there. Let's see what happens on the artillery dice.
Yes.
It blows up. The cannon
Roll a dice.
blows up again.
Again.
Let's see what happens.
It's
That's
still
okay.
fine. It
That's
just can't
okay.
shoot this
Trying
turn.
to say,
The fuse went out. It didn't blow up.
I'm surprised that a general like Monkey wouldn't have thought to put a rune of forging on the cannon to allow him to re-roll the misfired dice.
That
I
would
think
be
that was an
really
oversight
useful.
on his part.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How can one find the rune of forging?
I think it's in the Mines of Moria.
Costco.
You get them.
Like, why isn't the rune on the thing?
They cost points and you wanted your miners. You insisted on the miners.
I said,
Cost
Stylus, do me a
appropriation.
favour, make me a nice list. He went, yeah, no, you don't make me a nice list. Didn't
Yeah.
say about the rune of
It didn't.
non-blowing up, did it?
No. So, miners marching forward. Over here, there's only a couple of thunderers that can hit the war dancers. It would be 6 to hit them. It's 6 to hit the guys in cover, but more can shoot the guys in cover, so he's shooting at them.
Yeah, so...
Bossman's hitting on a 5, though.
Bossman's hitting on a 5.
Yeah.
No.
He misses. Can you get any 6s to hit any of the other guys?
No.
Just they make lots of loud banging noises, which really impress the orcs over on the other battle grid. So that's the end of the shooting phase. We're on to the fight. The Dwarves just need to kill one dwarf here.
4s.
And you hit
Only
once. Ooh.
Wounding on 4s.
And it doesn't wound.
Wow.
Little dwarf gunner can fight
So he
back
needs to
again.
make a fear test first because I cause fear. He's not afraid.
He's not. Of course, he's not afraid.
Punch back.
And he misses.
No.
Okay. So now makes to make a break test because actually we're even, aren't we? Nothing's
We're even.
We're even.
Nothing happened there.
No one's got standing. No one's got ranks. We just punch on.
That's the end of turn 3. Oh, we forgot a leadership test over here because he killed 2 of them when he bombed them.
I'm not sure if it's
Break
starting,
test.
it's starting wounds or what they had, but let's find out. We should probably check.
Yes. Now, you're fleeing.
I'm fleeing. It's the unit you start the strength
Yeah.
at the start of the phase. So I did lose more than I had 6 at the start. I lost 2.
Yeah, and there's less than half
It's
left.
less than half.
And you flee away from the unit that caused panic.
You did.
Which is the copter.
Which is the copter.
So we're using the pointing stick. Which direction are they going in, Monkey?
They'll be going in this direction.
Straight towards the miners.
towards the miners.
Which probably don't want to go that way.
No.
So we'll resolve that movement and we'll go on to the elves. Turn 4. 1 minute. Something else is happening.
So this is fun. So because the gyrocopter flew over them, bombed them, they're going to run away from the gyrocopter
Yes.
in the opposite direction, which is into the miners.
Yes.
If I get to touch them, which is not far, I'll have to flee through them. And because I'm fleeing through them, as they pass through them, the miners will try and shank them. So on a 1 to 3, every model will lose a single wound.
Right, so let's see how far you flee first. Snake eyes.
Oh no! So I'm
A
holding
little
steady.
bit of luck. You just move 2 inches forward
So
and you don't get... You're about to flee through the miners and thought, 1 minute, they've got pickaxes and things. We'll stay here, lads.
Well, you've got the warlord there. If they didn't have the warlord there, they'd
You
have
need
gone
to
straight
test to
through.
regroup now in your turn.
I will
4.
do. I might have to rally myself.
Okay, let's do that now.
Okay, so actually there's 2 things that can be done. Is that the warlord has an ability called Rallying Cry.
Okay,
And then if he fails that, they can make a normal test in the rally phase. So the Rallying Cry gives you a second bite of the cherry.
right.
So I've got a musician which will help me with my rally. And 9 is fine on his leadership. I am rallied. So
You
I can
rally.
go any direction I like. I cannot charge.
No.
There's no good place to be. I'm going to have to take the charge on the chin. They will stay there and hope the Drow Troopers and fly back over them.
This time in the Elves' turn, they actually managed to get off the glittering robe down here with the War Dancers, and as you can see, they didn't go charging in. What's happening over here? I mean, they're sat there. They're ready for the charge, but they're still dancing.
Yeah, I'm going to dance around them. That's a great combat unit, and I don't really want to take it on.
The warriors?
The warriors. I could kill a lot of them, but I probably wouldn't break them. And points are gained for capturing standards when they're broken. There's a standard right there. I reckon I could take out his thunderers and then have enough left to, have them keep on reforming to face me.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Okay.
So these guys have can't do anything, can't shoot, can't charge. They
They're
just
just
take
rallying.
the chin. These guys still have eyes on them, so they can keep on shooting them.
Okay.
And the Dryads are locked in combat, so that's what I've got.
So shooting phase.
Straight to shooting. It's still long range. I haven't moved, so he's going to hit on a 3, the champion. Doesn't hit, and everyone else is going to hit on a 4.
And that is 2 hits.
Hagbane tips hit on 2s, and that's armor bane. And again, sorry, not Hagbane tips, they're bodkins. They have no armor save. -2 for the bodkins and -1.
Just shoots 2 of them. That's the end of the shooting phase. There is no charges going on. We're back over with the Dryads trying to take out this cannon one more time, hitting on 4s. And this time you get 2 hits instead of 1.
Okay.
Can you wound the
Still need a
dwarf?
4.
You can wound the dwarf
one gets
once.
through.
He gets a save.
What kind of armor you got?
And he makes a save.
He fights back.
He fights back.
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
And he hits.
Oh.
Can he wound? He does wound.
Oh.
Can I save with my sapwood flesh? I cannot. Can I save with my regeneration? Ooh, what's my regeneration?
This is tense.
Regeneration on a 6 means that dwarf actually won the combat against all those Dryads. They need to take a panic test. And they hold. We are locked up here. That is the end of turn 4 for the Elves. A quick turn. In Dwarf's turn 4, will the Rangers join the fight? And what will all these chaps do over here about the War Dancers dancing into them? Meanwhile, down here, the Warlord of the Elves is in trouble as we go to Dwarf's turn 4. So we're going to start off the Dwarves' turn with the Miners charging into the Glaive Guard with the Eldar Warlord.
Yes, so I'm going to stand and shoot.
Okay. So one gets taken out on the way in, couldn't fail the charge. The Miners go charging in there. Then at the end of the movement phase, these guys have a turn to face the War Dancers coming towards them. The unit nearby, the Warriors, just march forward, going straight towards the second unit of Archers, while the little Deathcopter here wheels through the sky. There's going to be a lot of fire coming down into the War Dancers this turn, but with their glittering robe, it's going to be very hard to hit them. It would be hard to hit them unless you could stuff the cannon full of knives and forks and bits of cutlery and do a grape shot at point blank range, which auto hits.
Brilliant.
Got to roll the artillery dice though; it could still blow up in your face.
So put blow up in my face,
Yeah,
but could do 10.
you could do 10 auto hits. Yeah,
I know what I'm betting on.
it does 4.
I'll take 4.
automatic hits.
That's 4 dice.
Wounds on 3s. It didn't blow up, and it wounds 3
I
times.
have a ward save to dance my way through this. 1 does, 2 get shredded.
5 War Dancers remaining, getting hit by the crossbows up here. There's long range, glittering robe, basically 6s.
It's
After
surprising
all the
how
modifiers.
just a shiny dressing gown makes you hit worse.
Yeah,
Strange, isn't it?
no. You still hit one of them.
We'll take that. We'll take
That'd
that.
be good. And you don't wound it. Brilliant. Well, the Thunderers wheeled to try and throw some shots in as well. Now, with all the modifiers,
Yes.
you need 8s to hit.
Well,
So-
for the Thunderers.
For the Thunderers,
So you're saying there's a chance.
there's a chance. Roll d6s, 6 d6s.
Right. So I've got to get 6s to hit first of all.
Yes. And then if you got any hits, then you need 5s. Reroll
Wow.
on 5s.
Okay.
Yeah, they're dancing. They're dancing around all over the place. You've got your gyrocopter
Yes.
there. That can fire in D3 plus 1 shots, and this time you have 3 shots.
Long range, skirmishing, glittering robe. It's -3 to his hit, so he's in on 6s too.
6s.
They are dancing around all over the place. They are caught in a crossfire. It's just the grape shot that actually manages to wound them. That's the end of the shooting phase. We're on to the fight phase finally. Drad versus Cannon one more time. This time Stylists has remembered they actually have extra attacks.
They've grown more limbs. They are Groot. 4s. 3 coming in. Come on, kill this guy.
Oh dear. Come on, little man.
Yeah,
Oh.
he gets taken
I'll
out.
make a test to restrain and not overrun, which I do. They are quite happy with that. They will restrain and reform, facing those guys.
And because the artillery guy is gone,
The
Cannon
machine is
gets
gone.
removed as well.
Okay, so on my rule sheet that Stylus has prepared for me,
Yes.
there's a rune of immolation, which allowed me to self-destruct the
Right.
cannon. So I'd like to do that, please.
Rune was placed in error. It cannot be placed on the flame cannon. And I'm shocked you don't know that, Captain.
Yeah, you can't put it on a flame cannon.
Can't put it on a
Everybody
flame
knows that,
cannon.
monkey.
Everyone knows that.
But now we're on to the miners versus the Glade Lord and his Glade Guard. Obviously, the elves go first. A bit higher initiative.
Yes, so what happens is they've got great weapons anyway, which are strike last.
Yes.
I've got a great weapon, which is strike last.
But you've got an enhancement.
I've got an ability which is strike first, which neutralises it, so it goes back to initiative. So
Yeah.
they're striking first, then he's striking. I am not going to issue a challenge. Do the miners want to do one?
I'm not sure, should I?
If you issue a challenge, my champion will accept it because my lord wants to go swinging into you.
Basically, you only lose one dude instead of a few.
Let's do a challenge. That sounds
Yes,
great.
at a time.
Okay, challenge. The champion will step forward and accept the challenge.
Okay.
He's your minor champion.
Okay.
There we go, but everyone else will fight.
All right.
So, 2 regular elves armed with bows. They'll be hitting on 4s. 1 hits, they'll be wounding on 5s because dwarves are tougher. Nothing
Negative.
happens. Right, so now the Glade Captain steps forward with his 3 attacks and his great weapon.
Okay.
So he will hit on...
Is this the challenge?
This is not a challenge because he's the boss and
Right.
he's his deputy saying, you step forward and clear this guy.
Sure.
I'll clear the line of these guys.
Okay.
So with a weapon skill of 6, I'm going to be hitting the dwarves on 3s.
2's to win with
2's to
armor
win,
bane.
2s, and it's -2 armor, I think, for a great weapon anyway. And that was armor bane, so I think I chopped 2 of them down.
2 dead.
Yep. Dead.
So the Warlord takes down 2 in the fighting ranks. Now we're on to the challenge.
Challenge. My guy is not really good at fighting. But
Okay.
he's first.
No, he
He's
misses.
not. You can hit back though.
Yeah.
So now you have what's left is what's been chopped down from the fighting rank can't fight back. They will step up, but the step ups can't fight back. So you
Yes.
have the challenge guy, and these 2 guys are the only ones who can fight back.
Okay.
Okay, so the prospector has got 2 attacks. Weapon skill 4. And yours is
Skill 4. Hit on 4.
hit on 4s.
This is the challenge. He
Ooh,
lands
that's
2
right.
blows.
Strength is 5 against my toughness 3, so you'll wound on 2s. Okay, and you chop right through my armor, so you win the challenge, and in fact you overkill, so you get an extra point of killiness. there.
Combat
Lovely.
resolution. And then 2 more attacks into the guys with
2
bows.
more minus, swinging for the fences.
And
It's 1 hit.
one of the miners hits.
Wound on 2s. You
And
chop
kills
another
one more.
down. So
At the end of all of that, it looks like the Dwarves won.
they did. I've done 2 wounds to them, but they've done 2 wounds and an overkill to me.
Yes.
Both have standards, and he still has a rank of. Does he have a rank? Or he doesn't. Once he steps up, he won't have a rank left. So he's won the combat by 1.
Leadership test on the elves.
Leadership test on the elves. They're okay. They're going to give ground, so they'll go back 2 inches.
The elves and the warlords step back. The dwarves pursue them. That's the end of turn 4. This game might end on turn 5, or it might continue till turn 6. The war dancers over here, again in the shooting phase, we've got their panic test.
They are immune to psychology. They are in the Church of Dance. They don't care about anything like that.
They're immune. That's fine. They're fine. They're about to come charging in this way. Yes. Okay. Elves turn 5. At the start of the elves' turn, the glittering robe didn't go off one more time, and the war dancers want to charge into the thunderers. They're going to hit them on 5s. Thunderers firing Overwatch. And look at that.
Dearie me!
That is 5 out of 6 hits.
How many elves are left?
There's 5
Oh, there's
left.
5, is there?
Yeah.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
Shall we see what's 3 swords?
First randomise.
Yeah.
On 1, you'll be hitting because now he's less than 5 troops. You'll randomise because he's a character.
Yes.
So roll to see who the hits first. 1s will hit him. 6s reroll.
So just roll 5 again.
This is just to assign the shots. You're not,
Okay.
not wounding now.
Are you ready?
Okay.
So 1 went on the character, and these 4. So roll to wound them.
Yep.
They will need
3s.
3s because you're strong. They will get through, and then he will probably also need
And the
a
character.
character is still toughness 3, so you need a 3.
Everyone's wounded.
Excellent.
Excellent.
You went charging in there. The Thunderers managed to do all the things.
Okay.
Here's the normal war
My
dancer
board
saves.
saves. No, they're all dead, and he takes a wound. So he's got 1 wound left, I think.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Wow.
And then he goes charging in on his own. While the war dancer engages the Thunderers on this flank, the Rangers are getting charged by the Dryads on this flank, and they're firing down with their crossbows as well.
Hitting on 3s.
No, be hitting on 4s because I'm skirmishing.
Hitting on 4s because skirmishing.
Okay.
I'm glad you picked that one up. That was a test for you.
Wounding
Yeah.
on 4s because I'm tougher than regular elves.
And that is a wound onto the Dryads.
That was armor bane, so
It
that
was.
goes through my sapwood flesh, but I get a regen. I don't get a regen.
Cut one down on the way in.
The other 5 get in as well.
At the end of all of that, the only unit that's not engaged in close combat for the Wood Elves is the archers here, and they're going to fire in at the warriors that are bearing down towards them.
Indeed, Arcane Bodkins. They're now in short range, so I can use my full Elvish attack. So the Lord's Bowman hits on a 2.
Nice.
And everyone else hits on a 3.
Okay.
And that's good. Wounding on 5s. So these 3 go straight through the armour.
And
It's minus
kill
2,
them.
minus 1, and this one is a 6-up save. 6 up.
Hey!
At the end of the shooting phase, no panic test to make for the dwarfs. We're coming on to the fight phase where there's a war dancer engaging some thunderers.
No, that's a Shadow Dancer. He's
Shadow
He's
Dancer?
a special type of war dancer. He has the ability, though, to use the War Dancer's special dances, which gives him extra attacks, extra AP, all nice stuff.
Yeah.
But only if the War Dancer unit is with him, and as you see, they're all lying dead in front of him,
Yeah.
getting gunned down by those horrible black powder weapons. So he's going to declare a challenge against the boss.
Okay.
Do you want to accept that, or do you want to fly to the back like a coward?
The boss seems pretty canny, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we'll just we'll go to the back. There's the boss. He's got a fancy hat. He's not going to stand and fight there. He's like, come on, boys.
Okay, fair enough. I have 3 attacks base, and I have Furious Charge, which gives me an extra attack, and I have the Spear of Loek, which I'm going to strike you first as well. And I weapon skill 8, I'm going to hit you on 3s. I still missed twice. All that. His strength 4 is going to wound, and the Spear of Loek gives me extra strength. I'll wound you on 3s. One wound for all that.
Wound.
One wound. It's minus 1 AP.
Okay, so saving on 5s.
Yes. Wow.
Whoa!
Wow.
It's not a good day to be a war dancer.
He doesn't cut anyone. He's not a war dancer.
No, he's a shadow dancer.
The shadow dancer cuts
Dancing
no
for money.
one down. There's 2 in the front rank that can fight back. They hit on my
It
5s.
would be a third one because the third would have stepped up when the champion
Oh, yeah.
fell away.
Oh yeah, another one.
5s to hit. He's only got 1 wound left because he got clipped coming in.
He gets a hit in. Can you wound him?
Can you
He's
wound
got
him?
4 to wound,
You
Oh
can wound
dear.
him.
Oh dear, oh
but I
dear.
have my talismanic save. Can I leap out of the way? Will my tattoos save me? No, they won't.
Yeah, it took 5 turns for that guy to dance his way down there, only to die, getting clubbed, his kneecaps bitten off by a dwarf. We're into the Dryads. We're all engaged. Heals are a problem. You're hitting these guys on 3s, I
On
think?
4s with the
4s.
same weapon skill.
Okay. And remembering the extra attacks really helps out.
It really does. And I'm still strength 3 this, so I'm going to wound you on 5s.
Okay.
Only 2 get through.
2
no AP.
wounds on the Rangers.
5 ups.
Kill
2
2
failed
of them.
save.
So that's
2 of them fall. Skirmishing dwarfs hit back on 4s. And they strike out 3 times.
Pretty good,
wound me
boys.
on 5s though because I'm tougher.
He's very
It's a
tough.
tough old tree.
It's a tree. Wound him once.
We've got 1 axe apparently.
I have sapwood flesh, which saves, and it doesn't save me. It's a 6 up. So my regeneration, can I grow that bit back? I can.
Yay!
So
Okay.
you lose the combat by 2, so you're making a break test,
He's got a standard and he's on a hill.
and you have the high ground, and you have a standard, so it's a draw.
The Rangers hold firm against the tree people. The Thunderers beat off the Shadow Dancer. And now we have combat number 3. The Miners versus the Warlord of the Wood Elves.
Do you wish to challenge?
I think I'll issue a challenge. I'm feeling pretty good so far.
I've got to accept it, because there's nowhere to run, so step up. The Glade Lord has 3 attacks,
Yep.
and he's way better than you. He hit on 3s,
Okay.
as they all do.
Uh-oh.
His mighty great weapon will wound you on 2s. Those are
3 wounds.
3 wounds at minus 2, so you have no save. So I kill your champion, and I stomp him twice,
Oh no.
which just leaves the other elf to whack with his longbow. He does hit, he doesn't wound, which gives you 5 guys, because someone stepped up, 5 guys left, 5 attacks.
5 guys.
5 guys.
Great burgers. 2's to wound.
Oof.
1 wound on the
wound.
elf. He gets taken out.
I'll take that standard as well, thank you very
That's
much.
right, you've got to break him in combat. This standard gets trodden into the mud as you fight over it.
However, because of the overkill from the Elf Warlord, the Dwarves technically lost. You have to take a leadership test.
You're good.
Seven
They
is
hold.
Okay, they go back
The
to...
standard has fallen, but you've got to break the entire lot
Yes.
to pick up the standard. And now we're divided. Now we're apart. That is the end of Elves. Turn
Follow
5.
Back up again.
We're going to Dwarves. Turn 5. Here we are after the Dwarves movement phase. We also did a long shot with a Thunderer, because a 6 re-rolling to 5 definitely wouldn't kill an elf, right? He killed an elf. The gyrocopter is pivoted round and wants to get shots in on those Wood Elves as well for D3 plus 1 shots.
Yes.
For 2 shots.
2 shots.
This needs 6s to hit as well.
Ooh.
And none of them hit, and that's the end of the shooting phase, except
Cannon.
For a cannon. Now, by marching forward with your warriors,
Yes.
they are in danger close proximity to where this cannon shell might land.
Yeah.
So this could be hilarious.
But based on the cannon's performance, the cannon is also in danger close proximity.
Aiming for there, right in front of the Lord's feet, because it can't shoot less than that,
No.
but it could really overshoot. Let's see what you get with the artillery dice, and it really overshoots.
Bring cannon.
Fires 10 more inches further than that, flying over their heads. They pulled their shot, trying not to hit their warlord. That is the end of the shooting phase. Nice and quick. We've still got some combats. We've got dryads with rangers. We've got all the miners with the warlord of the elf. Where do we want to start the combats?
He's striking first, striking last, so he's got the highest initiative, so we can begin there.
Okay.
No more challenges to be issued because he's the only character
Everybody's
left
dead.
hitting on 3s.
And he hits all 3 times this
Wounding on
time.
2s.
He wounds all
yeah.
3
Minus
times.
2 to your armor, so that kills 3 of them.
Wow.
No save. You'll be hitting
3 brave miners hit back against the elf warlord, and you need 5s.
4s.
4s. That's a hit.
Wounding on 2s.
That's a wound.
It's a wound.
These miners are getting cut down, but finally the elf warlord takes a blow. He's bleeding. However, the miners have lost the combat. Leadership 7 now? 9. So you need an 8 or less.
They lost by 1.
Standard, losing by 1. They hold, you're still
Good.
locked up.
Once
The
again,
fight
They
continues.
give ground by 2. I follow it up, and the fight continues.
Okay.
I don't need a movement base anymore. I'm on my own.
And then we're going all the way over here to Dryads versus Rangers. And we did all the combats. A Ranger died, but because of high ground and banner, no wounds on Dryads. The Dryads will need to take a regroup test, leadership test.
8 minus 1 because
Yes.
so they hold.
And they hold, and that is the end of turn 5. That could potentially be the end of the game with the Dryads on this flank, with the warriors rampaging down towards the last of the elf archers, and with the warlord locked up on 1 wound remaining. Does someone sound the clarion horns? Do we retreat? Is this the end of the battle? Let's roll the dice and find out.
Shall I roll on a 5 up? The battle is done.
And the
The
battle
battle is done.
is done. Oh, it's good to go back to the old world. Watch elves come ambushing out of woods to try and jump on these dwarves, but they didn't do enough. We didn't have any cannons blow up this time, but we certainly had some grape shot going into some war dancers, which are really hard to hit unless you hit them with some grape shot, taking them out. At the end, the elves only really managed to tear down 1 cannon. So what is the final score, gentlemen?
So that score is 5-6-6 to the dwarves, 1-2-5 to the elves.
It's like 3 times the dwarves beat you by. Yeah,
They did. I got maneuvered. The fast maneuverable dancey elves. I got flanked. The gyrocopter was flying around them. I was there. This elves was going forward. I was taken apart by a superior general.
You guys played before
Yes.
off camera.
Yeah.
Was that dwarves versus elves,
It
or
was.
who won that one?
I don't remember.
I think it might have been me.
Is it 2-0 to Monkey at this point?
It is
2-0.
2-0 in the old world. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a topsy-turvy world. I don't know what's happened here.
What do we think of Old World?
I'm really enjoying it.
You've played it a bunch of times now.
Good fun.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
And it's this different dynamic as far as like how you're quite constrained with the movement,
Yeah.
which gives it like another tactical edge.
You've got to think where you are the turn ahead of yourself because you can't move and charge. You've got to think, well, I'm going to be looking and seeing so I can
Next turn.
And there's a few things to decouple from 40k because you can't like move, shoot, and charge. The charging happens immediately.
Yeah.
The toughness and the hitting is slightly different. So you just as soon as you get your brain to the new part of it, and it's quite easy to run through.
Nice. Well, thanks for coming down, playing a game. That was lovely to see. Hopefully we'll see you again on the channel at some point, and we do hope you enjoyed that battle report. Happy wargaming.